All the best. A coped wreck.
What do you think it means?
Well, looking at it on the surface, I'd say it's just a letter written with the intent of messing with you.
I get that, but it just feels like there's something bigger going on here. I mean, look at the way it refers to me. It says Specimen 2. What does that even mean?
There's only one thing it can mean. Remember all that stuff we were told growing up?
No way. You can't be serious.
Oh, I'm really serious. Have I ever looked any more serious in my entire life? Never mind, don't answer that. The point I'm trying to make here is that whoever wrote this letter knows what we were involved with as kids.
Hang on, so you think whoever this person is could tell us about it?
Yeah, and whoever they are, they're picky. I mean, what kind of person makes it a requirement for you to have to play all of the games that made you the person you are today?
Someone cunning.
Huh?
Someone who knows me better than anyone else. Even you. Listen, Pubis, it's been real, seriously. But if we want to get anywhere in figuring this out, we need to be a team.
We could be the Brothers of Awesome.
No. We don't need any stupid names like that. In fact, I'm just gonna kill that. Just gonna kill that name before it becomes anything bigger. Just no.
Oh.
But where do I even start? Most of those games over there made me the person I am today.
Well, the best place to start would probably be with the games that left an impact on your character.
The ones that you still have memories of playing to this day. That's not a bad idea. The only problem is, I'm still in the middle of the Crash Bandicoot series.
Well, Cal, I guess there's only one place to start.
I know I already talked about Crash Bandicoot, the Wrath of Cortex. In fact, I obliterated this game. When I was done with it, I didn't leave it with a new asshole or even a vagina. I left it with a cloaca. Yeah, a cloaca. So I guess this game's a real chicken, right? But this is a new take on the game. I'm not going to be predisposed to ugly graphics or even long loading times. So you know what that means? I'm not reviewing the PS2 version. I'm actually going to be reviewing the superior Xbox version. So yeah, today I'm talking about the Wrath of Cortex on the original Xbox. But before I begin, I want to mention something that I think is pretty interesting and kind of funny. The PS2 port of this game was published by Konami. Yeah, Konami. The same people who fired Hideo Kojima and greenlit Metal Gear Survive. Modern day geniuses, everyone. Oh goody! I get to choose a new name! I'm just gonna place this there and that here. Beautiful! Fuck my life!
Imbeciles! Fools! Nincompoops! Can't you idiots do anything right?
I'm gonna guess no. Just look at these 5 dumb shits, they're beyond pitiful. Here we have a giant tiger that can't kill an animal that's inferior to him, a scientist with a missile in his cranium, a dingo that can utilize a flamethrower but never manages to kill anything with it, the master of time itself who got fucked up in 3 different time periods, and this dumbass right here, the Jimmy Neutron looking dweeb who started it all. And you, supposed mask of evil? The most criminal thing you've done is trust him. Yeah, my answer is no. None of them can do anything without screwing it up somehow. I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. We all know the Wrath of Cortex's plot. Uka Uka's pissed off, Cortex has a genius idea, and a plot concerning world domination is hatched. And listen, I know everything just started, but I just noticed something I've never noticed before. Pay attention to Cortex's reply to Entropy.
I don't know what you're talking about, Entropy.
Are you shitting me? He just said entropy. Do you mean to tell me that somehow, somewhere, somebody fucked up on the pronunciation of the name Entropy? Which I might add is spelled T-R-O-P-Y? How the hell did they mess this up? Entropy isn't even a real word. The actual physics term, entropy, yeah, that's a real word. I don't know, you know what, let's just move along, just get it out of my face. So, in order to get rid of Crash and effectively take over the world once and for all, the 5 opt to use Cortex's secret weapon, which requires the use of 4 disastrous masks known as the Elementals. This happens, that happens, yada yada yada, and the game begins. So, following this grandiose intro, everything looks to be pretty promising. There's a solid story in place, I suppose, and the game doesn't shy away from the formula set in place by Crash 3. One could say that it almost sticks a little too close to the Crash 3 way of doing things, but now isn't the time for that. There's one huge warp room with 5 areas, each filled with 5 levels and a boss. Starting with core gameplay, the Wrath of Cortex is pretty fucking good. It's the classic Crash Bandicoot hallway platformer that we've all come to appreciate. You start at the beginning of an area and traverse to the end. It's really simple and easy to understand, but would I be wrong in saying that the game would be any better if it was different? Probably not, and it reinforces the if it isn't broke, don't fix it idea. Or as I've reworked the term, if it isn't broke, don't fucking break it. The gameplay is fluent and responsive. Crash controls just as well as he did in Warped, except that he's lacking in every one of his previously gained special abilities. What the hell happened there? Do you mean to tell me that in a period of just 3 years, Crash forgot everything he learned during his last platforming adventure? I don't mean to bring up Metal Gear again, but fucking hell, even Snake, a guy who was in a coma, didn't lose any of his military tactics or even his fucking muscles. So then, what is this? It's simple. Bad game design. Look at it this way. Spyro 2 had Spyro learning how to climb ladders, swim underwater, and head bash. So when Spyro 3 came out, did Spyro have to learn to do all of that menial shit over again? No! Let's be real here. At the end of the day, Crash having to relearn his abilities isn't that much of a big deal, but it still honks the fuck out of my Dodongo! Yeah, my Dodongo. This means you get the double jump, tornado spin, fruit bazooka, sprint, and the tiptoe, which, allows you to sneak along nitro crates. I'm not even gonna comment on how this is a gimmick because it totally is, but I instead want to comment on how stupid the entire idea is. You mean to tell me they don't go off just because Crash tiptoes on top of them? Are we really doing this? You can also play as Coco for the first time here, and it's something. Would it be wrong to say that I preferred when she was limited to just vehicles? Because I do. She just doesn't control very well at all. I mean, she can't slide, instead she has this pissy little crouch kick, and her levels feel almost like an afterthought. She can also gain her own power-up, the Super Body Slam, which along with the Sprint is shared with Crash. Each level has its own crystal and gym challenges that are focused around breaking the Wumpa crates and completing death routes. There's even a few levels where Crash swims underwater, and yeah, they're still a pain in the ass. It doesn't matter how much I try to not be biased against the game. Shit that flies in from off the screen is always a cheap challenge.
But I do say I love murdering the aquatic life in this game. Oh, it makes me thirst for a bit of tea. It's just oh so delectable, and I say, honestly...
And that's really all there is to say about the base gameplay found here. I mean, everything I've said regarding Crash Warped and even Cortex Strikes Back applies here. This is honestly Crash Bandicoot Warped with updated graphics. But now we come to the biggest complaining point of this game. The vehicles. The Crash Bandicoot series is no stranger to vehicles. The first game has the Wild Pigs, the second game has the Jetboard, Jetpack, and Polar, and Warped has all of these. Let's take everything into account here. Crash Warped has 8 vehicles overall. Wrath of Cortex has 13. And these vehicles occupy 18 of the 25 levels. That's a lot of fucking vehicle levels. Now's the part when I'd go off on all of them and say how much they suck and don't control well, and that's 99% right. With the exception of the plane or the Atmosphere, every other vehicle feels either shoehorned in or almost broken. The mech is a nightmare to aim with, the Firefly controls like total ass, the Jeep is as bad as the getaway van in the first Sly Cooper, and the coolest of them all, the Copter Pack, shows up once during the regular run of the Warp Room levels. Strangely enough, I can understand why some people view these as welcome additions, and sure, whatever you say, the biggest issue still stands. There's 18 levels focused around or including vehicles in a platforming game. Something isn't right there. I honestly wish I had more to say here, but the thing is, I don't. Any complaint I previously had has already been said in my past video. Let's talk about the bosses though, because yeah, I think they're pretty stupid. Each boss is the same guy, Crunch Bandicoot, who just so happens to be the secret weapon that Cortex made. He eventually went on to become a more prevalent character in the series, but here, he's just a clueless idiot that takes orders like a dog. He's also aided by the 4 elementals, so he's different each time you fight him. He's first teamed up with Rocco, the Earth Elemental. This fight is tedious as all hell. It's all because of this thing, the Atmosphere. On its own, this thing is alright, I suppose. It kind of controls like something out of Marble Madness, but that's besides the point. It works like an actual ball. You know, taking a while to build up speed, and an even longer while to slow down. Well, the aim of this fight is to hit these rolling boulders and turn them into your designated color. It sounds easy enough, but the wishy-washy ball physics cause you to just barely miss whatever you're trying to hit. Crunch, however, nah. He can stop and move whenever he wants. What a load of fucking potatoes. If you're gonna impose a stipulation on the player, you better make it just as difficult for the AI. Oh yeah, and even in terms of Crash Bandicoot standards, this boss fight is way too simple, and it becomes boring really quick. The next boss is Wawa, the water elemental. I actually kind of enjoy this boss. That's not to say it's good, in fact, it's just as stupid as the first one, with you dodging Crunch's arsenal of a whopping 3 attacks. Well done. Boss 3, Pyro. It's just as easy as the rest. You run away from Crunch as he lobs flaming rocks in your direction, then pilot the mech and spray him with water. I don't think I've ever faced bosses this easy. I mean, I think Toasty from Spyro the Dragon is harder than any of the bosses I've fought in this game. Boss 4. You know what, actually, hang on a minute. Okay, so the boss of this area is the air elemental Lolo, except I don't think that's how you pronounce his name. Ever since I made that original review, this is the one thing that I wish I could have corrected. See, in the Spanish language, the word lloviendo means to rain. Usually when it rains, there's a storm, and with storms comes a hefty amount of wind. Is it possible that the developers meant for his name to be Yo-Yo instead of Lolo? I'm not saying anything for sure, but just think about that. The fight functions like an on-rail shooter section, which actually makes me wish I was playing something like Star Fox. Truth be told, this is a pretty fun boss, but like the rest, it's easier than this guy. Just kidding. And here we are at the final boss, Crunch Bandicoot himself. Who the fuck am I kidding? This twat can't do anything without backup, so instead this boss includes every one of the elementals, and good God, is it obnoxious. I always make it to the final portion and get fucked over by these electricity beams. Seriously, I think I died like 5 times on this part. It really doesn't even matter if I'm bad at this fight or not. Fuck this bitch. So, after laying the final smackdown on Cortex's jaundice-ridden ass, this happens.
Can't you ever let me win? What do you want from me, you cretin? No, Uka Uka, I can explain.
Actually, no. That doesn't happen at all. This happens.
Can't you ever let me win? What do you want from me, you cretin? Cortex! You realize that Crash may have collected all the crystals, but he doesn't have the gems.
Extreme close-up!
With the gems, we can resurrect the masks one last time and destroy that Bandicoot once and for all.
Now, this is actually pretty damn misleading, because in order to get all of the gems, you have to do all of the relic challenges. Yeah, the fucking relics are back. This time though, I didn't find them as annoying. Sure, the underwater levels are an almighty pain in the ass, but there really is a sense of speed when Crash does his little sprinting thing. Call him Crash the kind of fast but not too fast but still fast enough Bandicoot. Beautiful. There's also the secret warp room, which like in Crash Bandicoot Warped, is unlocked by completing each of the base relic challenges, though I think it has something to do with getting platinums as well, but fuck if I know. I got platinums on like every level. So, you spend an extra 2 hours, I timed it, doing all of this busy work, and what comes after that? Fighting Crunch again and dealing with the bullshit electricity that can't decide where it wants to be. This time though, instead of Uka Uka interfering to be like, aha! It's revealed that Crunch has been under mind control and is just now snapping out of it. The space station explodes, Crunch is welcome to the family sun, and Uka chases Cortex around a block of ice. So, having replayed Crash Bandicoot The Wrath of Cortex, what do I think? This game is mediocre. And I can hear each and every one of you that defends this game right now.
How is the game mediocre if it's the same as Crash 3?
Well, that's the problem. It's the same fucking game. No, seriously, it's a replicate of Crash 3. And if that still doesn't click, I want to quote a reviewer that I really enjoy named Pat Strikes Back. You see, during his review of Spyro Into the Dragonfly, yeah, that game, he goes on to mention how it's a carbon copy of Spyro 3, yet nothing interesting or new is added at all. That pretty much explains the Wrath of Cortex. But I think what surprises me the most is the fact that I found actual enjoyment upon replaying this game. Don't get me wrong, Traveler's Tales were on the right track here. This game definitely had a lot of time put into it. The problem is, the execution was horrible. I mean, yeah, the graphics are still pretty yuck, even on the Xbox version, just fuck. But goddamn, it's 100 times more appealing than this anal-festered shit. Now here comes the question I've been asked a lot. Would I rather play Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex or Spyro Enter the Dragonfly? Are you kidding me? Obviously this game, because this game actually, is finished, it has a variable frame rate, and overall isn't the biggest piece of shit imaginable! And that's basically what I think about the Wrath of Cortex. Will I be playing this game again soon? No. No, I won't. No. I've had my fair share of disappointment for now. But what's up next? How about this? Want to keep up with everything that I'm up to? You probably don't. But for those of you who do, head on over to twitter.com/CalWon'tShutUp and click follow.